Alright, so I just got done watching Fly Me to the Moon, and it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. The first thing I liked about this movie was simply that Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson had really great chemistry here. And you really buy into this like somewhat enemies to lovers story. And as much as I like them together, this is definitely Scarlett Johansson's movie. And we focus a lot on her past and what she was doing before she became like this promoter or marketer or whatever. The next thing I liked about this movie was the music. We get a lot of music from like the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, and it's really great. Doesn't necessarily fit the movie, yes and no, because this movie feels like a modern movie even though it's taking place during like a past period of time. But still, the music was really great here. Woody Harrelson's in this movie, and he isn't really given much to do. He's just kind of like the FBI, like Secret Service guy. But you can tell that Woody Harrelson's having a lot of fun with this role, and anytime he interacts with Scarlett Johansson, it's just a nice thing to see. And he gets a little bit more to do towards the end, and I'm not going to give that away, but if you really like Woody Harrelson, I think you're going to like this movie. And the humor overall for this movie is pretty funny. And a lot of people are probably thinking that this is like a rom-com, but it's really not. Don't get me wrong, there is romance in this movie, but it's not really tied to the comedy. And the comedy is more situational than it is like with romance. And I don't know the actor's name, but the guy from the Community like show, if you've seen it, he's really great here. And he steals every single scene here, and he pretty much just plays this like really obnoxious director who really only got in because of connections. Also, because this movie is about the moon landing, at times this movie really does play into those jokes. And it's mostly like conspiracy theories and whether or not the moon landed, or if it's even real at times. But another thing that I liked about this movie is that although there is quite a few jokes in this movie, the movie actually knows when to be serious and doesn't just rely on jokes. My biggest problem with this movie is simply that I thought it was 20 to 30 minutes too long, because there's a lot of moments in this movie where you can easily tell where this movie's going and you want it to wrap up a little bit quickly. So there's just a lot of time in the movie where I just feel like I don't really care because I know how this is going to end most likely. But having like the fake moon landing video be a big part of the movie definitely kept me a little bit more interested, but if it wasn't for that, I think I would have just stopped caring. And especially towards the end when there's like 10 minutes left in the movie, before I figured that out, I thought the movie was done. Because the ending that they did for this movie was pretty good, but then I realized, oh shoot, there's like another 10 minutes left in this thing. And it was a pretty good payoff, but still, I feel like this movie should have been cut a lot better. This is really just like a personal thing, it's not really a criticism, but I really wanted to see more of Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson because we do get a good amount of them in this movie, but once again, they have great chemistry and I wish we would have saw more of that. Also, I did say that we get to see Scarlett Johansson in this movie and her background, but more or so what she was doing like a couple of minutes or days before she actually got the job for NASA. And Woody Harrelson's character obviously being in the Secret Service means that he has access to a lot of people. And if you've watched the movie, then you know Scarlett Johansson definitely has an interesting past. And I wish the movie would have shown us that instead of just like telling us about it. But overall, Fly Me to the Moon doesn't do anything special, but I do think it's a decent movie. That's also pretty funny and has pretty good chemistry between Channing Tatum and Scarlett, with a really good score and surprisingly beautiful shots at times. So would I watch this movie if I wasn't like a movie reviewer or YouTuber guy? No, but if I was just a regular viewer, I would definitely check it out on streaming.